Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets with Karl Bryan. If you want to attract new high-end coaching clients, fill live events, and build a wildly profitable coaching practice where business owners pay, stay, and refer, you've come to the right place. In this podcast, Karl provides his keys to the kingdom for finding and signing high-paying clients and building the coaching business of your dreams. Here we go.
Hey, Karl Bryan coming at you. I want to talk to you today about the importance of running local live events if you're a business coach or a business consultant looking to crush it. And when I say crush it, what I want you to do is create an environment where you are magnetic, where you are attractive, where you are in a situation where clients are coming to you. They are texting you, they're emailing you, they are phoning you, they're reaching out to say, hey, I heard you're somebody that could solve my problem. Are you willing to engage in a conversation? Versus, and I think you'll agree, and you might be in this spot yourself, where you're a business coach and you're the one doing the reaching out and the texting and the emailing and the phoning and saying, hey, are you willing to engage in a conversation with me? So in order to do that, you need to jack up your significance, your authority, your importance in the local marketplace or national marketplace or maybe international marketplace, wherever the case may be, depending upon where is your airplane on the tarmac? Where's your airplane at 10,000 feet in terms of your coaching company airplane? So if you want to get it to 10,000 feet, I believe pretty much the quickest way to do it, and I've said this many a times, is to do regular speaking events where you have got an audience and you are delivering high level content to them. So how do you do it? Number one, you need a bullseye, okay? Well, in fact, if you were looking at a dartboard, I was looking at a dartboard, my 11-year-old daughter was looking at a dartboard, where are we all aiming? And I just gave it a minute to go away, but you would be correct. It is the bullseye, right? You're going for the center. It's a natural instinct. So here's my question. What is the bullseye for your coaching company right now? And I'm going to challenge you to say that you might not have one. So let me help. How about 10 events in 10 weeks, get 10 clients? Really tight, really simple objective. And remember, Tony Robbins is so highly paid. Tony Robbins gets paid for who he is more than what he does. My goal for you would be create a situation where, again, you're getting texted, you're getting emailed, you're getting contacted, you're very attractive, you're very magnetic to your ideal client, and they're the one reaching out to you. The quickest and easiest way to do that, without doubt, from my experience, is to run local live events. So there's a goal for you. There's a bullseye for you, which, by the way, you might want to adjust that. You might want to bring that back to 3. You might want to jack it up to 25. You might want to doing, 3 a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll leave that with you. But what I can't allow you to not do is to not move forward without a bullseye. And I'm going to assume if you're listening to this, you want to do local live events. And I think that the bullseye of 10 events in 10 weeks, 10 clients would be a really good goal for you. That said, that's pretty much exactly what I did many years ago, close to 2 decades ago, when I got going as a business coach. And I wanted to really crush it. And I thought, what could go wrong? And I'll tell you, I get asked all the time, Karl, I got a sales problem. Karl, I got a marketing problem. Karl, I got a systems problem. Karl, I got a staffing problem. And the reality is they often are horrifically wrong. And after about 3 minutes of analysis and a small diagnostic, what I can work out is that their real problem is business model. They have a business model problem more than they have a sales, marketing, staff, systems problem. Okay, what do I mean by that? A lot I could cover there, but let's just go to, you guys have probably heard the terminology funnel, okay, that has become ridiculously popular over the last, I'm going to say 5 years, and everybody's talking funnel. My opinion, the problem with that is that if you really think about a funnel intimates that you pour water in the top, and then what does it do? Like a water slide, a slippery slope, it just pops out the bottom. Okay, I don't know if you want to build your business with a slippery slope where people just pop out the bottom. So I think if you think about a funnel as a series of cliffs, okay, they either go to your landing page or they don't. They either give you the email address or they don't. They give you the phone number or they don't. They book on your calendar or they don't. They show up to the appointment or they don't. They wait until the end of the call or they don't. They give you the credit card number or they don't, right? So do you see how it's a series of cliffs, and at any time they don't take the next step, I don't think that there's a slope that they're sliding down. I think it's the exact opposite, where it's a cliff, they've fallen off. Okay, so if that's the problem I see, what is the solution? I want you to be thinking about a growth loop. Okay, some of the biggest companies in the world, Facebook, Uber, Apple, you name it, basically they're built with growth loops. And I want you to picture a growth loop, instead of a funnel dropping out, a growth loop very simply does a loop. It goes around and around and around she goes. You ever heard of a flywheel? The magic of a flywheel is that it expands, it gets bigger, and it speeds up. Okay, so if I were to give you an example of this, let's use Amazon as an example of a very, very, very successful company. Obviously, they've got. I want you to picture a clock, and I want you to go to 12 o'clock, and that's your bullseye. The bullseye for Amazon is what? And I can tell you that I think you know this. It's not revenue, it's not sales, it's not cash, and it's definitely not profit, because they're famous for that. The bullseye is selection. Okay, it's the everything store. What is not available at Amazon? And the answer is almost nothing. Okay, so now I want you to go to 3 o'clock, customer experience. Okay, the more selection, the more things available. What does that do to the customer experience? I'd like to think it elevates it. Okay, and then now I want you to go down to 6 o'clock, which is traffic. Okay, so let's say my daughter, she loves these things called American Dolls. She's getting a little bit old for them now, but she still kind of likes them, and she's got a number of them. My wife could jump in the car and drive to Toys R Us or the store that would sell them, and they may or may not have it. Okay, and they may or may not have American Dolls, but they certainly may or may not, and probably not, have the specific doll that my daughter wants, right, with a specific name and a specific hair color and a specific outfit. Okay, well, if you go to Amazon without testing, what do you think the chances of it being available on Amazon? Your instincts are correct. It will be there. And if it's not there, it's look, in 7 days and 14 days, it lets you know when it will be, right? So now my daughter gets an American Doll. Okay, well, now she wants a house. She wants a car for the doll. Is my wife, or if you're my wife, are you comfortable that you could go back to Amazon and get the car, get the house? Your instincts are correct. If she jumped in the car and drove to the equivalent of Toys R Us, 30 minutes one way, 30 minutes home, parked, paid for parking, fought the traffic, etc., what are the chances of her being successful? And the answer, let's just put a 50-50 percentage on it. What do you think she's going to do once she gets accustomed to it? The convenience of going to Amazon.com and knowing that it's available, she's going to go back there. 6 o'clock is what? Traffic. So 12 o'clock is selection. 3 o'clock is customer experience. 6 o'clock is traffic. And by the way, did that just up the experience, the customer experience for my wife, not to mention my daughter and possibly me as well, because now I got a really happy daughter, right? Okay, so the customer experience goes up. So now we go to 9 o'clock. Okay, and that's the sellers on Amazon, because some people are still saying, we won't sell on Amazon, we won't sell on Amazon, we won't sell on Amazon, we won't sell on Amazon. And then guess what? Sales go down horrifically. Everybody's buying the competitors' products and the alternatives on Amazon. And what do they say? All right, I'm going to sell on Amazon. What does that now do? That's 9 o'clock, more sellers, more product. What does that do to 12 o'clock selection? It increases. So once again, a growth loop, a flywheel, it expands and it speeds up. Okay, and then you've got a second loop to this. Like imagine you're coming around one layer, now you're going to go a second layer above, and it is better, like buying better, because now they can buy in bulk and they can kind of push around. You know, the way Costco can push you around a little bit, Safeway can push you around a little bit if you're trying to sell your dog food there. Amazon obviously have that ability as well. So they buy better, which allows them to lower their prices and maintain margins, but that's a different story. So they buy better, and then they can sell cheaper. Okay, well, if they're selling cheaper, I want you to put that at about one in between 1 and 2 o'clock above selection. guess what? What does that do to the customer experience? It elevates it, right? Okay, so now that I want you to think of that as the equivalent of the business model that you would aspire to. That is a growth loop, and one that as you get bigger, it expands. The problem is I'm not building Amazon.com. Here's the problem with coaching. You've got number of clients. Like how many clients can you take on? Actually, let's do this with let's say there's a business and they paint cars for a living. Okay, they can paint exactly one car a day. And let's assume there's 30 days in the month to keep it nice and simple. So how many cars can they do? And that would be 30, okay? What happens, so now we put 30 and we're gonna put them as the number of cars and we're gonna put that at 12 o'clock, okay, the bullseye. Well, what happens when they go from, and then customer experience will be 3 o'clock, okay? What happens when they go from 30 cars to 60 cars? What happens to customer experience? Does it go up or does it go down? Their ability to deliver the cars very quickly to their clients go up or down, right? And your instincts would be correct, it goes down. So what happens is when you've got a business model like coaching, or no, let's go to the paint body shop that's painting cars, they can do it, everything works great up until 30, but then they go from 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, the customer experience continues to go down. What do you think happens to referrals? What do you think happens to resales in the future? What do you think happens to their profile online and the 5-star reviews that start becoming 3.5 that become either no stars or low stars, like 1 or 2, right? So you see the way a model, what happens is instead of going in a clockwise direction, once you get to 30 cars, it goes in a anti-clockwise direction. Okay, your coaching company. Let's assume you can handle 20 one-to-one clients. What happens when you get 30 one-to-one clients? What do you think happens to customer experience? What happens to your ability to get back to everybody and respond in a timely fashion? What do you think then happens to your referrals? What do you think then happens to your retention? What do you think then happens to your local reputation? What do you think happens to, again, your status in the eyes of the specific client who you've been working with, right? So what happens is the model eats itself. Once you get to 20, which by the way, solution, then you got to move into group coaching, which I won't worry about. Well, I don't know, it's probably worth mentioning because then what happens is you go from one-to-one coaching and then I hear, Karl, I'm not doing one-to-one coaching anymore. I'm only doing group, right? Okay, well, that's okay. But want me to tell you the magic of group coaching? It's network effects. What happens is you've got 30 people, hypothetically, in your group coaching program. There's going to be 5 within that 30 that want more of you. So if you ever sold a $60,000 coaching program, say $5,000 a month, 60 grand a year off of a text message, it would come from one of your group members at a lower end fee, say $1,000 a month. And they say, how do I get more time? How do I get one of those slots? Okay. And then you move them into one-to-one. So now you got one-to-one group and one-to-one, but most people go one-to-one, say, I'm no longer doing this. I refuse. I'm moving everything into group. And I think what you should really do is you should start with group and get really, really good. And then you start with one-to-one and get really, really good. And then move to group and get really, really good at that. And then continue to do one-to-one. But the difference is your one-to-one goes from $2,000 a month to $5,000 a month to maybe $10,000 a month. And those are the people that are paying for access and they're getting a significantly bigger chunk of you, but it comes at a cost. And believe me, when they see a group coaching program where you've got 30 people taking notes, you talking, them asking questions, you engaging them, solving their problems in real time, it creates a desire, an attractiveness, and a magnetic kind of feel where all of a sudden again, there's 5 in the 30 that are just going to want your attention. Okay. So, okay, what did I just say? That is an example of a growth loop. That is an example of a model that can get bigger. Want to know the best model? If you really want network effects and you want a flywheel to work for your company, well, many, many years ago, close to 2 decades ago, I was getting going with coaching and I wanted to build a killer business. I looked at all the best of the best. And at that time, it was Tony Robbins, it was Jay Abraham, and it was Dan Kennedy. So I was smart enough to look at what they were doing, reverse engineer their model and their success and say, okay, well, what are they doing and how can I get on it? right? Well, guess what they were all doing? Without fail, no question. And the more successful somebody was, the more I could be guaranteed this would be the centerpiece of their company. And your instincts are probably correct. The bullseye is events. And I want you to put events/attendees at 12 o'clock. Okay. Now, next to that, the more events you do, the more attendees you have. Like if you have 10 people in a room and you have 100 people in a room, is it a better experience? And the answer would be yes, okay, because there's more energy. It's going to be a better room with better energy, okay? That said, by the way, before I continue that, if you are a one-to-one coach and you don't have staff, the last thing you want is a room of 100 people. Why would that be? Lots of people, poor follow-up is a bad model. You want to have less people and excellent follow-up. Every person that comes into that room costs you money, resources. You want to monetize them all, okay? So events/attendees. So now I want you to go, we're going to go a little more than just 12, 3, 6, 9, and then 12 again on this. I want you to we're going to go to 2 o'clock. So you've got events and attendees, and then at 2 o'clock, you've got customer client experience, okay? And then the next, we're going to go down to 4 o'clock. You've got status, okay? So the more events, the more attendees, the better the clients, the better the presentation, the better your content, the better your examples, the better your metaphors. What do you think is going to happen to the status of you standing at the front of the room while they're all sitting? You're looking in one direction and the entire room is looking at you. What do you think is going to happen to your status as you get better at that? Your instincts are correct. It's going to elevate big time, okay? Now we go to 6 o'clock, quality. The more events, the more attendees, the better the experience, the better the status, the better your examples, your metaphors, your stories, your ability to deliver, your ability to engage, your ability to solve problems real time in the audience. What do you think is going to happen to the quality of your events? And by the way, what do you think is going to happen to the quality of your audience? Instincts, correct. It's going to go in the right direction, which is in a positive manner. Okay, it's going to go up. Now we're going to go, where were we? 6 o'clock. Now we're going to go to 8 o'clock. Conversions. Again, with all those things that I just said going in the right direction, including quality, status, client experience, and the number of people and the number of events, what do you think is going to happen to your conversions? What do you think is going to happen in your ability to convert? What do you think your ability to deliver your close and the relaxed nature in which you're going to do your close, right? And the status in which you're going to deliver it's what I'm trying to say. Your conversions, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go in the right direction. Okay. What's the Mac Daddy of a coaching business? My belief is that it's referrals and joint ventures. Okay. So now we're at 10 o'clock. What do you think all of those things elevating, moving positively, going up and in the right direction? What do you think is going to happen to your referrals and your joint ventures? Your instincts are correct. They are going to go up. They are going to elevate. They are going to accelerate. And then what happens to your events and the number of attendees? Now you've got yourself a flywheel. You've got yourself a growth loop. You've got yourself a business that is going in the right direction. And not one that is reversing on itself, going in a counterclockwise direction where as you grow, you go from 10 clients to 20 clients max out. You go from 20 clients to 30 clients to 40 clients because you want to continue to grow. And all of a sudden, you got to go backwards. Because by the way, let's go back to our shop painting cars. They go from, what could they do? 30 cars in a month. So then they open a second location. Okay, and then maybe they're going to open a third location. And then they open a fourth location. Well, and maybe it's going to go amazing, right? It works for different businesses and they absolutely crush it. What happens, it's more of a 95-5 thing than it is an 80-20 thing. If the guy's not a really talented leader and manager, what are the chances of his ability to build 1 auto body shop and then 2 and then 3 and then 4? What do you think happens? You go from 1 to 4 back to 1. You see it in you see it in all. As I say that, I bet you can remember, you probably know of a business that did exactly that, where they went from 1 to 4, as in a lot of expansion, and they came back to 1, where the owner could just manage the 1 crew, the 1 lot, the 1 office, only 4 walls, and things went in a significantly more positive direction when he could scale it back and keep it tight. Okay, so there is that option, and again, you could do something similar with your coaching. What I have seen is, again, a bit of the 95-5 thing, where the coach goes from 20 clients to 35 clients, and then back to 10 clients, you know what I mean? And then has to build it back up. So anyways, and then by the way, there is a second. So we got events/attendees, client experience, status, quality, conversions, referrals/JVs. And then you've got a second layer like you did with Amazon, and that is clients. Okay, so we'll put that at 11 o'clock. And then results at 1 o'clock, but one layer up from the other. And what do you think happens to client experience when the results go in the right direction? And you guessed it, the client experience goes through the roof, and their belief in you goes through the roof. That's I always want my coaching clients, when I said jump, I needed them to say how high, not why. And it's not that I was looking for, yes men or yes woman and, people that were just going to follow my lead blindly. But I would like to think in different situations, I thought things through and I was very strategic, and the advice that I was giving them, had been well thought through, and we had gone back and forth. So when it came time for them to act, for them to do, for the to-do list, for the action plan, I didn't want them questioning it, because without meeting the client that is questioning whether or not they should jump, do you think they're going to go, super far? Do you think that's a great coach-client relationship? And the answer is maybe, but probably I'd prefer the one where I decide, I say jump at the right time. And I don't just do it sporadically, but I do it at the right time. And they respond with how high, right? So anyways, that's a little bit why you should be running local live events, is you want to get all of these things working in your favor, and you want to create, remember I said, most people tell me they have a sales problem, a prospect problem, nobody's got any money problem, I can't get in front of the right people, I can't get right in front of the ideal clients, these types of problems, staffing systems, etc. And the truth is, it's very often a business model problem. So I'm going to tell you that as a local small business coach looking to do really well and build yourself a thriving practice, there is no question in my mind the easiest and quickest way to get there is to build yourself a local live event model. So that is what I've got, a little bit of advice. But again, so if I were just to give you a roadmap, it would look a little bit like this, okay? Commit to 10 events. Number one, commit. Why 10? You're going to do one, if you do one and decide if you're going to do two, and then decide if you're going to do three, just stay home. Okay, you've got to go all in. I always say the coaches that do the best are the ones that go all in and blindly follow. Like again, we say jump, they say how high, versus the ones that go 30, they're constantly reevaluating whether or not they're going to continue. Okay, so this is a career. This is not, instant, add water to your cake mix. This is delayed gratification on steroids. And this is a career, and this takes commitment, it takes discipline. So what I say is that if you're going to do local live events and you want to get more clients than you can count, and you want people to, sign up, off of text messages and that sort of thing, I would be doing it through local live events. Remember, Tony Robbins gets paid for who he is, not what he does. You want to put yourself in a situation where you've got that status locally, and you want people to be attracted to you, and they want them to be magnetic to you. Number one, commit to 10 events. Number two, book a venue, okay? Chamber of Commerce is fantastic because you call, you email, you private message, you text message, somebody tells them about the event and it's at the chamber, they automatically assume that the chamber is sponsoring it or putting it on and supporting it, which by the way, they are by letting you have it there. But you will find that attendance can be a little bit easier, but you do it at the golf course, you do it at the oil and gas club, you do it at the yacht club. At the end of the day, you got to book your venue. You got to commit to 10 events. You got to book your venue. And I encourage you to book 10 events in 10 weeks. Remember, 10 events, 10 weeks, 10 clients. And again, pay. Don't tell them you're going to pay on the day. Whip out your credit card, maybe not all 10 events, but why don't you pay for the first 3 up front? Do you think that might be good for your own personal psychology? And again, I'd go back to your instincts and they would be correct. Pay for the first 3. It's not that expensive. We're talking a number of hundreds of dollars here, okay? Number 3, create a list of local business owners, okay? People that won awards, people that were nominated for awards, people that joined the chamber, joined BNI, people that are advertising, businesses for sale, Go to the local baseball diamond, there's people sponsoring. Go to the local golf course, there's people sponsoring. Go into the bathrooms of any of those venues, and you're going to see some signs on the wall. Go busy highway, busy road near your house. There's going to be all kinds of billboards that you're going to drive by. These people are spending money to grow their company, and they have shown that they whipped out their credit card to try and better their bottom line and increase the number of clients that they have, grow their company successfully. These are coaching clients. Whenever I take on a coaching client, I'm always looking for somebody who's hungry. Okay, you look at a Serena Williams, a Roger Federer, a Michael Schumacher, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, you name it, Wayne Gretzky, Tom Brady. It is hunger. What drives them? They've got more money than they could ever spend, right? Hunger, 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 hunger. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for hungry business owners. I think somebody who's advertising is probably, and there is no black and white exact science here, but somebody who's advertising is probably a little hungrier than somebody who is not. Okay, so number 3, a list of entrepreneurs locally. Number 4, I am going to call, you should email, you should text, you should private message, you should lick a stamp and send them a mail piece and say, come to my event. Contact them, contact them, contact them. Number 5, I would do an entertaining and educational event. People want to be educated, but they'd rather be entertained. Okay, they want to be educated, they want to be entertained, but they'd rather be entertained. And that's why the movies do what they do, and Tom Cruise gets paid what Tom Cruise does. Does Tom Cruise still get paid really good money to do movies? I don't know. Showing my age. But anyways, entertaining and educational event, okay? Number 6, and entertaining, tell a joke, can joke, practice. Funny equals money. A can joke, like don't be shy to make fun of yourself, poke fun at the audience in different ways and funny things without being over the top. Well, you be over the top. What you need to do is be consistent with who you are. That's what you need to be. You need to be genuine, authentic. But at the end of the day, and some people are funnier than others, and I am not talking about getting up there and being a stand-up comic, because quite frankly, that is a bad idea. But what I do want you to do is understand that if you want the results to be fantastic, and that would equal coaching clients at the end, if you are more entertaining than the last time, your results are probably going to reflect that, and your number of referrals are going to reflect that, and that's huge. Okay, so do an entertaining and educational event. Practice, 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 practice. You get paid in public for what you get paid in public. You get paid for what you do in public. What you practice, I'm making a meal of that. You get paid for what you practice in private and then do publicly, okay? Tom Brady practices like a son of a gun, and then he gets paid on Sunday. He's retired, but you know what I mean? On Sunday, he gets paid to bring it home, score the touchdowns, win the game, move towards the playoff, hopefully the Super Bowl, right? Okay, well, how much are you going to practice your presentation is my question. And I think that you're going to find that your results will reflect the amount of hours you put into training. That's what we've found. And then number 7 is you are going to rinse and repeat. Number 1, commit to 10 events. Number 2, book your venue, dive all in, get a good venue. Not Humpty Dumptys, okay? Number 3, create a list of local entrepreneurs, people advertising, people promoting themselves, people sponsoring, people listing their businesses for sale, people up for awards, people that won awards, etc. Okay, people that are active out locally, they are hungrier than the ones that are not. I'm looking to engage those. Number 4, reach out to them, call, email, text, private message, mail them, lick a stamp. Number 5, do an entertaining and educational event. Funny equals money. Number 6, close 20% of the attendees. If you've got 10 people in the room, expect to get 2. And then number 7 is rinse and repeat. And overarching all of this, let me tell you, when I used to do local live events, and I used to do I didn't do one a week, I didn't do one a month, I did 3 a day. And I was a little bit more fired up and a little hungrier than the average business coach, granted, but I was doing 3 a day. Let me tell you, when I walked on stage, my goal was not money. My goal was not appointments. My goal was not assessments. My goal was 2 referrals per person. Because what's the hardest thing for me to do to the next event, and what's the hardest thing going to be for you and your next event? And that is put bums on seats. So I always found that if I gunned for 2 referrals the appointments, the money, the clients, the revenue, the size of the business, etc., looked after itself. I concentrated on getting 2 referrals per person. And I think that might be a good idea for you. So there you go, guys. There's my 7-point plan for running local live events. And I really do believe it is the quickest and easiest way to accelerate your business coaching company and accomplish the goals that you are looking to accomplish. So there you go. That's all I got for you for business coaching secrets today. Take care.
Karl Bryan built Profit Acceleration Software 2.0 to train business coaches how to find any small business owner more than $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. This becomes a business coach's superpower. So as a business coach, you'll never again have to worry about working with business owners that can't afford your high-end coaching fees. Check us out at focused.com.